Welcome to the WK Burnouts studio. I'm Christina.
And I'm Dustin.
Alan, behind the scenes with the easy job.
Oh, yeah. Do you sleep? Wake up, Al. Okay, there he is. He's with us.
So, Dustin.
Christina.
All of the new refreshes, the model changes, the upgrades, the different things that GM has been pushing out. Let's talk about the 2024 Chevy Trailblazer.
Ooh, it's a good one.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
I'm excited. I know we know we've done the tracks and the Colorado and the Canyon, but I'm excited for these options in SUVs that aren't going to break the bank.
Right.
Yeah. which is wonderful. So yes. So let's give this a little shout out.
Let's give it a whirl.
Yes. But so the 2024 Chevy Trailblazer start off with is they're adding two colors. Mm-hmm. So the copper, there's a copper,
Copper Harbor Metallic.
There you go. Copper Harbor Metallic, and the cacti, which
green.
is going to be obviously a green, like a cactus, right?
I would think so. We don't have cactus here, but we do have National Geographic channel, and they've informed us that cacti are green shade generally. Yeah. So we know
Good
that
assumption.
much.
Mm-hmm.
And we do know that I haven't seen a model of vehicle from any domestic manufacturer that carries a loud, bright color as well as the Trailblazer.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And
it never looks goofy.
No.
It just looks right.
And that blue color is, gosh darn it. I'll remember and we'll mark it in here.
Don't worry. Alan's already flashing the name right here in bold text. So he'll cover that for us. It's a blue color said right here.
Blue, it is just one of those, I don't know that I would own it, but it is super cute.
I agree. I'd live pretty loud in a Trailblazer.
Oh, I can only imagine.
I'd go green or something. Mm-hmm. It just carries it really well. And when you do the alternate colored roof, it's nice. I think they've grown up. This is a good thing about a mid-cycle refresh. Mm-hmm. All the things that, whether it was just the small change to the front end, to the lights, to the grill design, man, I'm sure it's a team of 700 engineers and geniuses and stuff and designers and but they did a really good job.
Yeah,
they really did. They hit all the points that you look at on the car on the previous pre-refresh design. Mm-hmm. Wow, if they would have made that front bumper go down a little bit, guess what? They did it.
They did it.
And they made it squared off in the front so that it really, really looks tough. It's just got a really, really good look to it. And that alone is enough of a refresh. But I mean, what we go through the list of things that they've changed. And I mean, there's a lot to shout about, in my opinion.
Well, and just the inside, the technology side of it, but the screens, from a 8-inch to the 11-inch.
11-inch.
Yeah. In the Trailblazer. And same thing with your driver infotainment screen. It went from, I think it was 4.3 inches to, it goes to 8 inches on the driver infotainment. So it is just across the board, you get in any GM vehicle and it's very sleek, stylish, and it says we're doing good.
Yeah, we have arrived.
We have
inside
arrived.
The cabin. This, there's a few things that really stick out to me with, in particular, the Trailblazer refresh, right? So they still have the same trims. You got LS, LT, Active, and then RS.
Yes.
Right. But they've made some unique changes to a couple of the trims that I think are just what the doctor ordered. Let alone all the interior stuff that they get across the board. But the Active, for example.
Yes.
The way the Active is packaged, it's made for somebody that's wanting to get into potentially the camping, the outdoorsy lifestyle. But rather than kind of being shoehorned into, you have to have a $50,000 off-road extravaganza vehicle just to go camping in. This kind of sets the precedent for the compact SUVs and says, hey, I can do the things. We're not trail riding this thing. We're just going to the campsite. We're just getting to the place, and we've got, a kayak strapped on top or something.
Right. Which in the Midwest is common.
Extraordinarily common.
Yeah.
Yeah, very common. Another thing that's common in our neck of the woods is when you go to a campsite, usually no matter how nice the campsite, guess what? It's at a river. Guess what? It's downhill. Guess what? You got to drive back out.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And with some expectation that, you'll have to, it's usually gravel, washed out really bad stuff. I'm just thinking of all the campsites that we go to for, scouts and stuff. It's like, yeah, it's you got to be prepared to get out of there.
I'm just thinking of going when we go floating, because I don't camp very often or whatever, but when you go floating and you're not taking a sedan.
Well,
I mean, you can, but you're going to.
My example is, you can take your sedan and you can really give it the hammer getting back up out of there through all the ruts and up the loose gravel and stuff like that. But you don't have skid plates. Guess what? The Active has skid plates.
Right.
This is a compact SUV with the necessary equipment to at least protect you while you're trying to do what isn't considered off-road trail riding or anything, but you just look a whole lot smarter. You're throwing a little bit of gravel. Guess what? You've got, part of the Active is the body protection stuff. Right. So they thought about stuff like that. They've, for this year, for the refresh, they've made it so that the, basically the suspension system, you've got unique suspension on the Active.
Got it.
So now you've got different, struts and suspension components.
The
so
off-road stuff.
It's not just the appearance that makes it an Active. It's a little bit of mechanical chops too there that make it just a little better suited for the off-road stuff. I know in the first generation, the Active was a little stiff, especially in the back. It could make it kind of bouncy. But they've addressed that and made it so that it's just that much better for those long gravel road hauls to the campsite and stuff like that, doing it in a comfortable and controlled manner.
Sure.
So.
And then the RS, which is kind of my favorite trim level across the board. Just more sporty, looking. And then it has the badging, of course, and then the 19-inch wheels?
19-inch wheels on a little compact crossover, and it looks awesome. Yeah. It looks so aggressive.
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah. The grill on the RS is unique. Trim elements on the RS, they're unique. And if a night and day difference for two models that are very close in price, and I mean, it's the same underpinnings. An Active and an RS look way, way different. I mean, you're definitely pick your style, right? With the Trailblazer. Yeah. And with the Trailblazer,
starting MSRP with your LS is in the 24,000 range. And, an RS, front wheel drive, you're looking at 28,000, as kind of your MSRP. So it's not going to break the bank. It's not one that
for a brand new vehicle. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And yes, all-wheel drive is an option, with the Trailblazer. Yeah. Which with the Trax, it is not.
Exactly.
Yeah. But the Trailblazer it is. So you have your options in the SUV world with all-wheel drive, but under $30,000, dollars.
I think that's a big kicker.
I mean, that's huge. That's great for people that are looking to, maybe they've always drove a sedan because, they don't need a third row SUV, or they don't want to jump to, an Equinox that's a little bit more, in price. So it's a great option for people to get into.
I really think so. And, a point that I like to make with this, this whole model, but especially let's look at Active for a lot of, purposes. Whenever you look for something with some of the capabilities that the Active trim has, you're usually pushed into the upper 30s in a price range, something with at least an all-wheel drive and skid plates, for example, and maybe some specifically tuned suspension. You've narrowed it down to pretty much just the Trailblazer Active.
Right.
So I think it fills a really good spot for those that have the desire to get out and to explore some new hobbies and things like that, that involve parking lots and fields, for example, or going down a big gravel. It's just stuff that this vehicle just fits really well with. But you're not making this full commitment of having like a 6-inch lifted mud truck or something like that, just to be like, I don't really like camping that much. And you got this big lifted mud truck, and you got to park in your parking garage with your job or something. This is something you can get, and you're making a commitment to a very comfortable, very nice, very affordable, very economical, and with style. I mean, I can go on quite a bit, but it's got a lot going for it. And that's the commitment that you're making, not a commitment to a lifestyle necessarily. Right. So I think it's a really good place for that kind of trim. But when you look at the RS trim also, that's another commitment to something that, maybe a little more high end feeling, definitely a unique look that is not so cookie cutter. It doesn't look like the same exact profile as a Nissan, a Toyota, an Escape, a this, or that, it just doesn't have that really typical profile that we see in this kind of compact or subcompact, even SUV class. So I like the flavor. Yeah. Well, and you definitely can tell, you have your LS and your LT, models, and that are, when you're looking from the outside, you really can't tell them apart, really. But then you have your Active that's completely, different for your outdoors off-roading. But then you have your RS. I mean, who sets itself apart because it's more sporty and, unique. So there's something for everybody, I guess, is what I'm trying to say about it. Cause it's not just, it's not just your basic cookie cutter, like you said, it's not just cookie cutter. Like there's something for everybody, everybody's personality. There's whether it's the color, or it's the trim level, it's there. I see a neat, difference with the Trailblazer in particular compared to a lot of other compact and subcompact SUVs on the market. And that's that you actually have a choice in engine. That's something that's kind of gone away from this segment is they'll have one engine. This is the engine you get. It's across the board. And that's across the board. One engine, one transmission, one drive type for some of them. Like the Trax, for example, is one way to get it. Front wheel drive, one engine, CVT. With the Trailblazer, they've done some nice packaging because you can do the standard 1.2 liter turbocharged 3-cylinder engine. Yes. Or you can do the 1.3 liter. Right. Now, whenever you do the 1.3 liter, if you get it with all-wheel drive, you get a 9-speed automatic transmission, which we've used tried and true. It's been in quite a few other models, much larger models also. That's kind of a testament to GM's kind of using their head with the packaging so that we know that transmission's good. And we know it's it overbuilt for the application, which is a good thing to have on transmissions for sure. Yeah. So the CVTs that are in all the other models, even if you get the bigger engine with front wheel drive, you get CVT, but those drive out really nicely. And, but in that segment, you usually, I could think of no other models where you would have the choice between a CVT or getting that same model and getting it with a geared transmission. So I think that's really big for Trailblazer. It sets it apart from everything else, not only in that price point, but in that kind of category. To have that, yeah. And that part is, you are definitely the brains on that part, because I look at it and I'm like, 1.3. So if I get in it, I mean, it's not it. What is the difference that I'm going to really know? What does it look like? That's what I want to know. What does it look like? So, one of the things that we were talking about before we started was, but the front seat that folds all the way down. Do you remember that? I mean, there have been cars over all the years, multiple models that have offered this, and why they don't do this on everything, I honestly can't tell you. The passenger seat, the front passenger seat folds down flat. Yeah, it's brilliant. I remember the Malibu Maxes did it. My parents had one of those. And when you folded that front passenger seat down, you could put like a full 8 foot long, 2x4 in there, stack them up. You had plenty of room for that long stuff.
Right.
And you didn't have to like fish it through your armrest area and let it sit on the shifter or anything.
See, that's what I remember.
Yeah, it was absurdly convenient. And then, poof, it's gone. And we're like, well, I wish we had something that had that again. No, thank you. So we've got it.
Yeah.
That's
Trailblazer.
8.5 feet.
Yeah.
That's huge.
That
hey,
is.
think about this. So you've got your compact SUV and it's a Nissan or whatever, or a Toyota. And you put your kayak on top. Awesome. We're ready to go. And you're like, okay, now I just got to get the paddle in here. And you're like, okay, so the paddle ride's right here by your face the whole time you're going to the river in most of that size and class of vehicle.
Right.
But in your Trailblazer, you fold that passenger seat down flat and you got paddle. You can put your deep sea fishing rods in there, for the love of Pete. I mean, you could fit stuff.
Yeah.
And keep it safe and keep it secure without bending it up. You don't have to take apart your fishing rods.
Don't have to take it apart.
Awesome.
And you can even, we talked about this with Alan. The worm would still be on the pole for Alan.
Oh, yeah. Leave the worm on there. You'd be ready for action at any moment.
Next time. Maybe next time you would catch a fish.
Yeah. Be all dried out. Worm hanging on there.
But yeah, absolutely. Like that is huge
feature.
Yeah, it is. And it's not common,
and
anymore.
It should be. I don't know why that's not a thing that's on like everything, but thankfully they at least put it on, something that we can get our hands on.
Yeah. I think with the whole lineup that's coming, I mean, GM has really stepped up to the plate, and
they have,
because, we lost a few models that were kind of, your starter vehicles, your lower end.
Butter. They were the things that, if you didn't have it seemed like if you didn't have your heart set on an $88,000 Denali Ultimate pickup, you didn't really have a lot to look at.
Well,
and
especially SUV wise.
We've filled in all the blanks there, and there's such a good progression from the low 20s all the way up and still under 40. There's so many different options for you in there with General Motors that are completely different styles, completely different takes on just the whole entire segment. And I think that's important. I know a lot of people are buying these. I know that sometimes you don't have that kind of passion. Sometimes your car is a tool.
Sure.
Right?
Yep.
You need options in that case too. Doesn't make you a bad person.
Right.
Just means that it's a tool that you use. And it seems like all the manufacturers were like, who needs tools? Everything's got to be based on passion and bling and this and that, or hobbies or that. Guess what? I mean, you still have affordable new tools that you can use. And the probably the last thing for me, the improvements to infotainment. And this is pretty much across the board too, but just look at the Trailblazer refresh. Guess what? 11-inch screen, wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto.
Yes.
That alone, I mean, that's a pretty big deal. And it really, really works nicely. So, I know there's over time, a lot of people, they kind of, I don't want to say jumped the gun, but maybe with their new vehicle back in 2010 and its Bluetooth capabilities, they were excited and it let them down.
Right.
It wasn't consistent enough. It didn't work often enough. They had, problems with some of them, but even at that, they just weren't as user friendly. You had to do a voice command to get Bluetooth to come up, and it's a new day, it's new age. And there's really nothing that can do more for your safety than having a good, reliable system you can count on setting you up for hands-free every time you get in. Yeah. And if anything, I would encourage the manufacturer continue doing this and forcing people out of convenience to use it. Yeah. Because it does make them safer. It makes the cars safer, makes everybody else on the road safer. So absolutely. Yeah, I think that's a big deal. Absolutely. And that's one thing that I went from a different make to, the GM line, and huge difference with, having even the Bluetooth updates or the Apple CarPlay. Huge. It was like Jaron was always like, does it have Apple CarPlay? Does it have, I don't know. What does it matter? You have Bluetooth, but now I do, I see it. And then also one thing with the Trailblazer, LT models and up, wireless charging. Oh, that's great. How much money will this save parents
because their kid didn't leave their charger in their bag at school, or whatever the case may be. Because
if we ask them, they don't know where they left it.
Oh, gosh.
They don't know where they left it. They have no idea.
Yeah, you see those memes that have the power strip and it has them zip tied to the power strip, the chargers. Oh my God, like all the time. Hey, friends come over. The kids' friends come over. Hey, where's your charger? Can I use your charger? Mm-hmm. Yes, leave it in the outlet that it's at because that's where I have it every single time. I go to plug in my phone, it's gone.
Where'd it go?
Yeah, we don't know.
No
so-and-so was using it, but then so-and-so did. No. So this way, yes, of course, you don't want to put your phone in there to charge at night, but you don't have to worry about having any cords to take to the vehicle because you have wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto, and a wireless charger.
It's pretty handy for the reasons that you mentioned, and also because all my kids always break their charge ports.
Oh my God.
So they're like, they love their phone so much, they're like sleeping with it on the weekends, and it's like right here on their face, and they get up and their little charge port's all dangly and broke and everything. So guess what? They don't have an excuse. You take them to the skating rink, their phone will charge on the way. Wireless charging is super fast, so they get enough juice to get them through.
Well, but
I'm just saying that's what I'm going to use it for.
There you go. Or they go to, they have their phone plugged in all the time because they can't leave it alone while it's on the charger. And then you're going somewhere, so they go to take their charger out of their phone and they don't just, take it out. It's it's like,
I wonder why those don't work.
Good grief. It's ridiculous. But anyways, I'm glad we see eye to eye with that.
We do. That's for sure.
I thought it was just my house and everybody that came to my house.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But I think that sums up, the Trailblazer, unless you think there's anything that we're missing that we didn't talk about.
No, I don't really think so. I mean, we've talked about the big stuff, the appearance changes that come with a refresh. Remember, it's still the same chassis. It just has a refreshed front fascia. Tail lamps are LED now. Front fascia has those oval lights lower and a thin blade light at top. And there's enough difference there that it really, if you set them side by side, you're like, whoa, how come they didn't make it look like that first? And I like the first one too.
I was going to say, I think it's super cute.
They did it even better. And the bigger grill, the lower kind of trapezoidal shaped deal at the bottom of the grill. The lights look really, really good. I think they usually don't screw up on refreshes. They they refresh it, make it look better. What the market said is what they do. And they've done a really good job on this.
They've listened. They've paid attention.
They have.
Yeah. And I'm excited. And I think fall of 2023 is when this is available to start. You may see one on the lot.
Likely.
Around that time.
We'll probably start taking orders over the summer.
Yeah. Perfect. I think I've said it before. Great things are to come.
Yeah, really.
Inventory is coming back, and we haven't really, had any issues. I mean, I know there's still ordering is still kind of the thing, I mean, to get exactly what you want, but it's not what you have to do anymore,
Yeah. Yeah. It seems to be that the inventory is becoming a little bit more available. Dealer to dealer stuff is a little bit more, I don't know, easygoing than it was previously. You as a dealer talking to another dealer about trying to get their vehicle, they seem to be a little bit more, I don't know, apt to try and make a relationship.
Yeah.
And
instead of hanging on to everything because they need to, and we need,
it seems like people are being a little bit better about sharing.
Yeah.
Which is good for the consumer. And I'm glad that they've taken the high road on that. And they're like, well, your next one on order, you can send to us and we'll let you sell this one to your customers. So that, as far as the world of new vehicles, and we got a lot to look forward to. We should be seeing a lot more of the compact, subcompact, the SUV stuff. They've done a good job of getting us, GMC Terrains, things like that. So now for the smaller stuff that's really, really hot right now. I believe they're building up a pretty big order to send our way this spring.
Good. Well, we're excited.
Yeah.
But, guys, if you found this informative and entertaining, I don't know that we were really entertaining this time,
Yeah. I don't know. It's we had so many facts and figures to
know.
go over and stuff. When things change, it's a big deal. So we like to, we get really serious about it.
Yeah. Down to the wire.
That's right.
But please give us a like, share with your friends and family. You never know if maybe they are looking at, the different changes that are coming through. But we appreciate you, and we will cruise on by and pick you up next week. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
This has been a WK Burnouts production.